Hey guys, it's been a while since I've had any appreciable update, I guess. Um, been super busy with school and everything, and get to a point where I want to update, and then I think, well, maybe tomorrow I'll have a little bit more done, and I'll post an update then. But then it just gets postponed and keeps getting postponed, so updates kind of lack in time. But I've pretty much finished the wiring. Um, the only thing I have left is these are O2 sensor, power and ground, and then these are heater wires here. Let's see, I have to wire the front bank injector resistors. I have to fix this little connector here. See, the wiring is kind of frayed, but everything is just kind of loosely put in place for now. Keep in mind that I had to kind of adapt the NA harness to work with the turbo car. So the fuse box and everything, all the wiring for it was meant for an NA car. Actually, it was out of a ES Stealth that was non-ABS. So I was able to delete all that wiring pretty easily just by swapping in the new harness. But I did have to wire in a few things extra. They don't come with the speed sensor wired, so I had to take care of that. I went ahead and put in a new map sensor plug. I think I stole this from one of these plugs here. Yeah, actually this one from my other harness. Let's see, what else did I have to change? I had to wire in the active exhaust and the active arrow. Had to make a few changes actually. Injector resistors and O2 sensors. The first gen Stealths only came, actually I think any of the NA cars only came with one O2 sensor in the rear bank. But I had to modify that so I could have two, basically just like a TT swap. But everything's just kind of loosely mocked up. You can see my fuse box just kind of hanging here, but this is going to be mounted probably somewhere here, somewhere around here. I'm going to seal it so there won't be anything in the engine bay. That fuse box normally, goes right there, but it's not going to be there. I deleted cruise control, so that was just more stuff to take out of the engine bay. Fuse box isn't going to be here anymore. You can see all my wiring runs back into the fuse box. This isn't connected or mounted. I mean, it's just kind of loosely laying in here again so I can test everything. But I have my MAF plug because I'm going to be running a MAF translator. I went ahead and put this plug in here so I can just put my MAF translator in here as well and just run the wires the same way the harness is run. But you can see I have a ton of wires under here. It's ridiculous. Had to cut this part off so it would all fit. I'm gonna loom everything, and I generally don't have passengers in this car, so if I ever do, I'll tell them to kind of be wary of that spot. But this is the starter relay, I guess. That's one of the last things I have to wire. This is all just kind of hanging in here, but this is power from the battery here. This is power going to the alternator, or coming from, I guess. The power wires from the battery are run along the center of the car, but the starter cable and ground are run in this channel here. But go back through here. The alternator cables fuse box cables just go through there, through this clusterfuck. This ground wire runs back behind here, and the starter cable runs this way, and the batteries mounted back here. It's all just kind of not even mounted really, but I have ground going here, and this big ground was the one that was run in the harness up to the transmission, the stock grounding point. But this, I put a breaker here. First of all, because I have the starter cable running right by the ground cable in the channel, and also because I have a really bad habit about going through battery terminals, over tighten them, I guess. But all I have to do now if I want to shut power off is just push that button, and it's just really simple. It wasn't that expensive. So that's pretty much where I am now. Let's see. Actually, yesterday I stayed up and got this running, or at least the electrical system, and my driver's headlight wouldn't work, or the bucket, the power motor, pop-up light wouldn't work, but thankfully it was just the pop-up relay in the fuse box. So that was a relief. I didn't have any, so far I haven't experienced any problems with my wiring, which is good. That kind of scared me, but if I have any problems, that's the first place I'm going to go, is the fuse box, because it did come out of a junk car, so don't really know how well it is working. One of my biggest, I guess, no-nos is don't mess with electrical stuff whenever you take out the engine or anything like that, because you never know what's going to happen if you, start it again. Could be a bad sensor or something that you replaced. Whenever you take the engine out of the car, you know exactly what works, what doesn't work. So I try not to mess with wiring, so I was very actually reluctant to take on this project because of that. But so far everything's worked out okay. Again, everything's just kind of loosely mocked up. Whenever this gets finalized, this is going to be the only thing coming through the firewall, this and this ground right here. I'm leaving all of this out right now for testing purposes. I have to use this to set my my timing. This I guess is fuel pump power. Really don't know what a lot of this stuff is. I think this is for the windshield washer, which I'm not going to be running. But the only thing right here is going to be intercooler pipe to MAP sensor and blow off valve down that way. That's the only thing that's going to be over here. It's going to be really nice. Well, air filters too, but because I'm switching the blow through. So I guess you kind of see everything's just sitting there. But the only problem I had was, let's see. Okay, that's closed. The only problem I had was that headlight bucket not going up and down. But I can show you guys. Oh, that's the most annoying door chime out of any car. All this stuff is working. Don't have fans in, so, but dash lights work. These switch over. I think I just tripped my security thing, but windows go up and down. And you can see I have power now. Parking lights work. Everything's working. The reverse or my shifter cables aren't connected, so I can't really test my reverse lights. But those it's just 2 wires that I had to cut, so I don't have any worries about that. Let's see. Can test windshield wiper motors. Don't have the wiper blades on, but yeah, that's how it actually all goes together. It's kind of funky, isn't it? Anyways, but yeah, all this is good to go. I fixed the only problems that I experienced, which was this little guy. But yeah, that's where I'm at now. I have to pull the oil pan to actually replace it because I dented it. But once I get that done, I can put oil in it. And then I guess I have to put the radiator in. But I should be able to start it and let it run for a bit. See how it does. But one of the coolest things was I finally figured out why I wasn't able to flash my ECU. It's this little guy. I was using these adapters from the 3.5mm to 2.5, which is what the Tactrix unit uses. And you can see it's got like 4 spaces, whereas this is pretty much the way it should be, is 3 spaces. You have 2 little, I guess, silicon insulators here. But whenever I was using those adapters, I guess it wasn't commutating properly, and I wasn't able to flash. But I found a cable. I'm gonna have to buy one. I just borrowed a friend's. Found a cable and was able to flash the stock ROM, which was never able to do before. And I went through some crazy stuff. I even made this thing because you're supposed to have 18 volts through that flash wire. So I this is a little tiny dude that I rigged up to go through one of those adapters. And I figured maybe that was my problem. That would eliminate anything if I just took the Tactrix out of the loop, anything out of the loop, and just had that 18 volts run into it. But that's not what the problem was. And that didn't even work because of that, the little thing has 4 pins, or 4 segments, I guess. But yeah, so car's in pieces right now, and drop my phone. I actually have a shit ton of stuff piled on top of it. Getting kind of out of hand. It's my dad's Mustang we've been working on. But yeah, so it's been a long time since I've had any, like I said, appreciable update. I don't want to loom any of this until I actually try and start it to see how it does. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.